Hi, my name is Adrian Alexander with the Absolute Sound. Before we get started with today's review, I have a question for you. Can you name 8 of the countries that are located in Western Europe? If you can't, that's okay. I'll give you a hint. One of those countries just hosted the 2024 Olympic Games. So if you guessed France, you're correct. Now, how is that relevant to today's review? Well, we are going to review a DAC, and the company is located in the country of France. So let's get started. The company we're going to review today is B.Audio. The product is the B.Dac 1 EX. The EX represents the streamer. Let me give you a little bit of background about who B.Audio is. The founding team is composed of 2 brothers, both engineers, Cedric and Sebastian, supported by their father, who transmitted them to this passion for music and technology. Cedric is an expert in electronics and signal processing, with a wide experience in design and precision measurement, equipment, and electrical networks. Sebastian has worked on numerous research and development projects, such as Mercedes-Benz. Sebastian is specifically expertise in the area of tuning and testing audio products. They used their professional experience to create a prototype. The company was founded in 2016, and the products are a result of over 10 years of research. Before we take a look at the DAC, the price is $12,000. I like the design. It's kind of industrial, it's kind of sleek, has a modern design. The display stays on or off, that's your choice. Streamer connector is RJ45, streaming protocols, Qobuz, Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music. Some of the things, you can turn the local server and local server on or off. That's basically stored music. Let's take a look at the back of the unit. You've got the RCAs. Here's the balanced outputs, left and right. 2 Toslink USB data. Okay, so if you have music that you want to store, which by the way, this unit will decode in 256 DSD. There's the Ethernet input, USB, and you have the digital in. Here's the remote. It's pretty elegant, really simple to use. Nice design, fits well in your hand. Now let's talk about the good stuff. How does the DAC sound? The first track that I sampled is by an artist named Adrian Alexander, no relation. The name of the album is Alto Saxophone and Strings. My experience in listening to an alto sax, sometimes it's a little harsh and sometimes it just wears on me. I get a little fatigued and I can only listen to it for so long. However, with this DAC from B.Audio, this is what I heard. It created a sense of space and depth, and it felt like the saxophone was moving all over in a good way, because it felt like it was a great experience because I felt like I was immersed in the music. It felt like somebody, when somebody wraps a warm blanket around you, it's just a happy, warm, comfortable feeling. And that's what this DAC demonstrated. Another song that I listen to is Bob Seger, Turn the Page. I've liked this song for over 30 years. It's a live recording, and I've always thought they did a good job. Well, when I listened to that Turn the Page through this DAC, Bob Seger's voice was just engaging, powerful, strong. The separation of the instruments. Again, this is a live recording. You can hear the crowd in the background to the side. I want to use the word again, immersed. I felt like I was probably sitting on the 3rd row. This was recorded in 1975 in Detroit, so the engineer did a good job. But this DAC seemed to produce a raw and rare energy in Bob Seger's voice. All the way from the beginning, at the beginning of the song, when he's starting to get into the melody, you can hear the hi-hat, you can hear the organ. It's just a well-recorded song. This DAC brought that out. Again, I heard this song, I've listened to this song a number of times, but it just seemed to sound a little bit more accurate with this DAC. I think with the software and the way this DAC is designed, again, as we go back to the beginning of the review, it talked about a gentleman who this was his specialty. I think they did a very good job, because everything that I listened to sounded very accurate and there was a realism to it. There was no harshness. And sometimes I've listened to DACs and that's been the case. Does that make sense? I'll tell you another thing that surprised me about this DAC was the soundstage. It's spacious and it's detailed, and every instrument has its place. In other words, the instruments, at least the way I interpret it, were exactly where they were supposed to be. The vocals were exactly where they were supposed to be. So again, I use the word immerse, but this DAC, for some reason, it just pulled me in. It's like, oh wow, I want to keep leaning in. Oh, this sounds good. And wow, the guitar's over here and the voice is here. That's the experience I had, and that's all I can share with you. I guess I could get real technical about it, but I want to share my experience and how it made me feel. Because when you think about it, music is about emotion, and we all love this hobby, and I got a lot of satisfaction and joy listening to the B.Audio DAC. The other thing I want to address is that you can use this as a separate DAC, and it sounds great. It's got a warm, rich sound. But what's interesting is I tried to use an external piece because I wanted to find out what it sounded like with a separate streamer. The streamer that I happened to use is a $5,000 streamer, and guess what? It just didn't sound good with an external streamer. I thought that was interesting. I'm just sharing that for no reason other than I like the all-in-one unit, and I like the hardware and the software that's written, and it sounds better than a separate unit that I use. That was my experience. Let's talk about customer service. That's a big deal. I dealt with a company called Monarch Distributing. The gentleman's name is Rich. He's a great guy. He told me that he's sitting up dealers, and he has dealers sit up in the US. And if you happen to be an owner of a hi-fi shop and you're considering bringing in a new product, I would recommend this. Anyway, I called one of his dealers. This gentleman's name is Ron out of North Carolina, and the name of his company is Liquid Hi-Fi. What a great guy. He talked about having some of the products in the showroom, the integrated amp. I was telling him about the DAC. We talked about that. So they get back to you. They work together as a team, and that's important because I don't care who you are. If you buy a product and something goes wrong, you want to be able to get in touch with someone. So I wanted to give those guys props for answering my phone calls and discussing some things with me. At the beginning of this video, I asked the question, how many countries are in Western Europe? You'll have to Google that. But keeping with the Olympic theme in the 2024 Summer Games, France. France won 16 gold medals. If I were to award this DAC and my experience with this DAC, the soundstage, the instrument placement, the warmth, the software, the ease of use, the features, well, B.Audio, I would award you the gold medal. Well done. This is a great sounding DAC, and I also like your story. I like the story with your dad, and you guys created this company, which, by the way, brought me a lot of enjoyment for the product that you created, and I appreciate that. So I would recommend to those of you that have a chance to listen to the B.Audio DAC, I would do that. Remember, it's the EX, which represents that the streamer's built into it with it, because I had nothing but a great experience with this DAC. So again, thank you all for subscribing. I want to thank all of you for listening, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and if you'd like, and it's not too much to ask, give us a thumbs up, because we enjoy bringing these videos to you. Thanks for listening.